Completing the Pokedex to see every Pokemon is one thing, but as you're trying to catch the Pokemon for yourself, today we're going to cover 6 very specific Pokemon that are a little more difficult to find in the Sinnoh region. Welcome back to Bridge 4 Games. I'm Tom, and we are now the champion in the Sinnoh region. And now that we have entered into the post-game, we're going to talk a little bit about Pokedex completion. First off, in order to unlock the National Dex, all we need to do is see each Pokemon of each species as well as their evolved forms, which is really awesome. However, I like to go ahead and catch each Pokemon as well. That's going to be something that we're going to talk about in detail today. There's a bunch of Pokemon that are a little more specific in how you're going to be able to catch them, and today we're going to talk about 6 of them. We're going to talk about Driftloon, Burmy, Heracross, Unknown, Riolu, and Spiritomb. These Pokemon, whether it's event related or time related, are a little bit more specific on how you find them and how we're able to go about catching them. So we're going to go into detail and we are going to break down exactly how to catch each of these Pokemon today. In addition, Unknown is one of the Pokemon that you're not going to encounter. No trainers within the Sinnoh region have Unknown. So the only way to complete this Pokedex is to actually go here and catch it. So we're going to jump right in here and we are going to talk about Driftloon. And before we dive into the specific entry, if you like the videos that we're putting out here on Bridge 4 Games, please make sure to leave a like on the video and consider subscribing to join our amazing Pokemon community. In a lot of ways, we kind of got used to in Pokemon Sword and Shield time skipping throughout, especially when we looked at raid dens. We were able to change the clock on our Switch, which would impact the time and help us find stuff. In Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, there's only very limited options in order for us to do that, and in doing so, in time skipping throughout, it's actually going to negatively impact some of the other gameplay as well. So we want to be very careful about time skipping within Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. With that said, Driftloon is one of those Pokemon that time skipping is going to actually help us out. So Driftloon is only available to us on Fridays and typically at night. So if it's not Friday, then what you can do is actually go to your clock function and you can change your clock to 11:59 on Thursday. Once you do that, then you're going to go back into your game. You're going to wait 1 minute until the clock strikes 12, and then you can enter into Valley Windworks. And when you come out of Valley Windworks, the Driftloon will then appear, and then you can encounter that Driftloon and catch it as well. So that is one very specific reason and way to get Driftloon. Other than that, you can just wait until Friday to complete that task. The next one that we're going to talk about is the honey trees. And the honey trees is a function within the game where you're going to come up here and you're going to talk to this gentleman. And the first time you do, they're going to give you a jar of honey. Now you can actually purchase more honey from here, as we see, and you'll then be able to use that honey throughout the game. And what we're going to do is we're going to come over to one of these trees and you're going to slather the honey on there. Now this once again is on a timer, so it's going to take between 6 and 24 hours for a Pokemon to appear. And what we're going to see is when we come back to this tree in the amount of time, I think this one's about 8 hours, we come back here and we see that the tree is now shaking. When the tree shakes, we go up to the tree, we select A, and then we have a Pokemon encounter. And so we're going to be able to find within here one of 8 different Pokemon, either Wurmple, Silcoon, Combee, Burmy, Cherubi, Apom, Heracross, or Munchlax. Now, when Diamond and Pearl were first out, Munchlax, this was the only way to get a Munchlax, and it was an incredibly rare spawn drop. So people would have to do these honey trees so much just to get a Munchlax. They are now, though, found pretty readily available in the underground. Heracross, however, is not. And Heracross is a 5% on a rare spawn honey tree. So Heracross is going to take a little bit of honey tree farming to do. Now, there are honey trees throughout the region, and again, you can pretty readily buy the honey. So you're going to just buy the honey, go through, and eventually you will be able to find yourself a Heracross. Next up is Unknown, and for Unknown, once again, this is the only way that you're going to be able to see Unknown in the game. And what we're going to do is fly over to Salatium Town. We are going to come up over to the left and then up above the buildings, go over then to the right. When you enter the cave, you can then walk into any one of these rooms, and when you do, you just walk back and forth until you have an Unknown spawn in. And the Unknown, there are actually 28 versions of Unknown that can be farmed within here, so definitely have fun with the Unknown adventure. But once you do catch this, they're pretty low level, so either a quick ball or a Pokeball, you can pretty much just start chucking right away, and you'll be able to catch yourself an Unknown. Riolu is another Pokemon. There is, I believe, a trainer in the region that does have it, but I think it's a little more difficult to find and very easy to skip over. So this is actually just a little bit of a side quest. You come down here, and when you land, you're going to go over to the left, across the bridge, and then down to this ferry boat. When you talk to them, they will ask you if you want to go to the Iron Island. When you do, you're going to come up into this cave and then down here into the left. When you do, it's actually going to prompt you a little bit of a side mission with Riley. You're going to double battle a bunch of trainers with Riley down through here. And once you actually knock out the Team Galactic Grunts, then Riley is going to give you an egg, and that egg is going to contain a Riolu. Last up, we have Spiritomb, and before I jump into this one, I just want to let everyone know I am currently in the game The Champion, but I did record this at the time where I only had 4 badges. And again, you can do this before you get the 3rd badge for sure. And it does take quite a bit of time. So I'm going to just go over in detail how to actually get the Spiritomb, how I farmed the NPCs underground, and just a little bit about the exploit that you can do to continuously catch more Spiritombs. You can essentially catch an unlimited amount of Spiritomb. Even though they do breed, you can breed with Spiritomb to get more, but this is just a good, easy way to get more once you actually complete the task. So we'll jump into that right now. Before you enter Route 208, you're going to talk to this gentleman right here. First time you talk to him, he's going to give you the odd keystone. We already did that, no problem at all. He says something now about spelunkers, which makes sense, given that the whole process is to go underground. Once you do that, you're actually going to come through the city all the way over here to Route 209 into the other side. This, again, not a secret. So Route 209, we're going to come up over this bridge, past these 2. All of these are NPC encounters that you're going to need to battle in order to get to this point. So obviously, when you get to this point, this is the rock that Spiritomb is going to spawn at. Once you throw the odd keystone in, that's the first time you encounter it. Again, we already did that. So we're going to jump ahead. Once you do that, you're going to need to talk to 32 NPCs underground. This is where things get a little bit dicey, right? Because at the point we are in the game, we just don't have access to the entire underground. So doing this in the post game is going to be much less of a daunting task. So this is where I did the vast majority of my farming for this particular piece. Mainly because if we look at, once again, the grand underground map and where we are here with the blinking red, it's a very small area. And the NPCs will spawn in 3 different locations, which makes it much easier to kind of get through. Some of the areas around here are actually rather large, and it makes it so that you end up having to run around quite a bit. Now, you'll also see here what I do have filled in and what I do not have filled in. So each individual spot, like I am in right now, has an NPC that's like assigned to it. And this is actually the one Matthew that is assigned to this particular zone, if you will. Once again, run up here past this guy into this little area. And essentially what happens is once you get into this little area, it's going to, when you go back into here, it is going to respawn. Now, it could respawn in one of about 3 areas in this. It could be in as many as 4 or 5, depending on the size of the cavern. Once again, we're going to grab the Diglett, come around. Second spot it can be is actually right here. Doesn't look like it's there, but there it is. Now we see that it's not Matthew who's typically assigned, but it's actually Ryuki. So that's pretty sweet. Now, we've actually gone through and got all 32 of them. A little bit of setup for this. First thing is autosave does need to be on. So we have autosave switched on. My settings have been saved. As well, we're going to put down a hard save right here. The other thing that I understand about this particular exploit or glitch is that there is something that can potentially break the cycle, and that is if one of your Pokemon evolve following the battle, then that will essentially remove the flag and it'll break the chain. However, we have Infernape, Gengar, and Luxray, which are now all in their final form, as well as Jirachi, Manaphy, and Mew that do not evolve. So we should be all set now with all of those things intact. We hit the button, we get the Eula, and we get an encounter for Spiritomb. So we are going to try to catch Spiritomb here. I didn't heal up my Infernape following the Underground Adventures, but it's pretty high level, so I feel like we should be okay. We also have some other good Mons as well. We've got 86 Pokeballs, so we're just going to start chucking and see what we are able to do. Doesn't catch it on the first one, which is fine. Spite fails, waiting my directions. We're going to chuck another ball. Kicks right out. Sure. Here we go. We're just going to keep chucking Pokeballs here. There's 3. Popped out after 3. So close. It's okay, though. Like I said, I'm not overly worried about completing this encounter. So we've got a lot going for us. Plus, we're pretty over-leveled for this. 1, 2, 3. And we do catch the Spiritomb. So now it is going to level up. It is going to few levels up. It is going to register to the Pokedex and sent to a box. Now is when you are supposed to shut her down. So we shut it down while it still said now saving, and then we are going to open the game back up. when we open the game back up, we should have Spiritomb in our box, and we should still be able to re-encounter Spiritomb again at the stone. So here we go. Coming back up. Coming back up. So let's take a look at our Pokemon. We have ourselves a Spiritomb right there. That is the Spiritomb that we just caught. And boom, there it is again. So we have another Spiritomb encounter. So we see for ourselves here that this method does work. And this is how to complete it. Now, again, I do have 4 badges, but you can do this pretty early on. You can do it when you come right up to it. So this is a really cool method to get yourself unlimited amounts of Spiritombs. And so we are going to just try it again. So there, the Spiritomb was caught again. And we're going to try and make sure. Sent to a box. Boom. Now saving. We're going to shut her down. And then we are going to boot back up. So it is booting back up. We should now have 2 Spiritombs in our box, and we should have yet another encounter. So that is going to be pretty awesome. This is, again, a pretty reliable way to get this Spiritomb and get as many Spiritombs as you want. Now, again, Spiritomb does actually breed, so you can actually breed it out to the nature, etc. that you're looking for. But if you want kind of a legitimate catch one, you can do that. You can also shiny hunt this. I don't know if I would say that this is the best method to shiny hunt. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But we see here we do have 2 Spiritombs. And once again, we are going to hit the button and Yula again. And we have yet another Spiritomb encounter. So we have actually now found a good way, like I said, to get as many Spiritombs as you want. My understanding too is that you can actually come back to this particular you can come back to this particular encounter. So as you kind of are done with it for now, or if you want to come back to it later for whether it's shiny hunting or to get more, you can actually come back to this later on in the game and then go along with Spiritomb and then come back for another one if you so choose. So we're going to do one more here. We're going to get this Spiritomb, and then we are going to have one for ourselves, and we are going to have one for our fellow Bridge 4 members, Mike and Blake. Infernape, waiting for directions. There's 3. There's the 4th. So we caught a 3rd Spiritomb. All right. Spiritomb sent to a box. Now saving. Quit out. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is how to complete the glitch exploit for Spiritomb. So there you have it for some tips and tricks. Along the way to catch some of the more specific Pokemon in the game, and as we look at 100% catch completion for our Pokedex, I hope this little adventure helps out quite a bit in your ability to find these Pokemon. Good luck with those honey trees, and we will see you all in the next one.